Hello and welcome to session 13 of Mountain Home. We had a little break last week, but we are taking up in the wake of a diplomatic mission last time, where the group went and was involved with various things and had some success. We are taking up with just a couple of the little, like, how do I put this? Business logistical things that we would do. The first of those things is the question of experience points. So I have to find where we've got that in the quick reference sheet. I believe, where is that? End of year. Let me get to that page in my printout of this thing here. Filament phase. Advancement. So I'm going to go around. So when I asked you about activities for last time, I apologize that it's been 2 weeks. So feel free to fudge when you're telling me these things in favor of more experience. Let's start back at the front of the character keeper, Dagriel. Dagriel,
I
did you?
was super hoping you wouldn't say me. I'm
And
like,
yet I did.
wait, what did I do last time?
Did you perform your playbook specific XP trigger between
uh,
the diplomatic mission and the building that you did?
let's see here. Get additional XP as a keeper when I unearth a secret or leverage my supply cache to help another. I think I used my supply cache significantly for others during that thing to assist uh, Grunheld in their diplomatic thing.
So
So,
mark an XP for that.
okay.
Did you
Sounds
express your
awesome.
beliefs, pursue your drives, or honor your clan legacy or your background?
Of course I did.
Okay.
Um,
All you have to do is say yes.
oh,
You don't have
yay!
to justify it to me.
But I'm sure I did. It
Okay.
always,
Mark an XP. Did you share a non-expedition phase scene with another founder? I believe you did. Did you struggle with your obsession or your weariness?
let's see here. My weariness is being selfish. Let's see here. Follows. I think there were more naming threats and me dancing around the naming
Yeah, I don't
a
think there
lot
was an
more.
actual suffering as a result,
No, I
but
did not
but struggle.
suffer. I just
Okay.
amused myself wildly, wickedly, perhaps.
All right. Tolan, did you perform your playbook specific XP trigger?
I think so.
Okay.
Um,
I'll take that as a yes, and you may mark XP for that. Did you express your beliefs, pursue your drives, or honor your clan legacy or your background?
uh, yeah, background.
Okay. So mark an XP for that. And we knew that you shared a non-expedition facing with another founder, definitely. So that's an XP. Did you struggle with your obsession or your weariness?
I don't think I've suffered from it yet. I've definitely invited future suffering, but
Yeah. We'll get to that future suffering. Uh, let's come to Grunheld. Did you perform your playbook specific XP trigger?
I did. I think I did some ceremony as part of the diplomatic thing.
Absolutely. Mark XP for that. Did you express your beliefs, pursue your drives, or honor your clan legacy or your background?
I believe so. I doing my uh pillar of the community, kind of leading in the diplomatic endeavors there.
Uh, XP. And then did you shared a non-expedition facing with another founder, so get an XP for that. Did you struggle with your obsession or your weariness?
I have no weariness, and I don't think I struggled with my obsession.
No, you didn't miss that role. One person did. We'll come to that in just a second. Dawson, did you perform your playbook specific XP trigger?
Address problem with runes, ritual, or spirit of the earth. Yes. Doing that runic circle and chasing ghosts through the depths of this mountain.
That's right. Did you express your beliefs, pursue your drives, or honor your clan legacy or your background?
Yes, in similar, my belief of trying to merge with the mountain so that our people can survive the ages.
Absolutely. Mark XP for that. And you shared a non-expedition phase scene with another founder. And you also had that issue with overdoing it. That has
And also with my, there's the whole extra entanglement. But last time was my dealing with the homebody without being able to go into clay form and obnoxious hypochondriac at the beach and
oh yeah.
umbrellas and all
I'll give you 2 for that.
that. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, pays off. Excellent. Let's come to the question of trade and walk through that. Now, you'll be paying out 1 gold at the end of all this to your centaur allies, but you managed to avert the trade loss that you would have had for this year because you're able to talk that down. So let's look at this. So this is a fortune roll. Adding goods for trade can bring it up to 0 dice or more, where it can then be rolled. So you're not at war with anyone. Don't isolate it. I think we're at a starting of 1 die given your abilities before we add in goods. So how do you want to do that for the trade?
We should definitely mark our ironworks. It gives us 2 dice, and we haven't used it for anything else this time.
That makes sense. I say we roll it and then we do
Activate the merchants.
Activate the merchants and do a second roll using the brilliant facets of Dagriel.
Okay. So let's have someone let's have Ethan. Let's have you roll 3 dice for me.
Four, 4, 1.
4, 4, 1. So you will get 2 treasure from that. And then you mark the Merchants Guild.
Mhm.
And then you mark the gems.
That'll
And
give us 1 die. Do we want to mark the brewery for a second die?
Sure, we didn't need it for anything, did we?
Yeah, we don't
Anybody
need it.
injured?
I think
no,
we're all
we already
healed.
went through that process. So yeah.
Okay, so that'll be plus 2 dice as well.
Okay. Sherry, would you roll me 3 dice?
Oh my God, why did you say that?
It's your
Because
facets.
I could count on you.
All right, here we go.
Look into me.
3, 5, 6.
6.
Yeah.
So you will get 3 treasure. Take 1 away. You'll get 2 treasure.
Okay. Total of 4.
What do we take 1 away there for?
For the centaurs,
The-
paying the centaurs off.
Boo. Stupid centaurs.
Do they do that with every trade roll or just?
No, that's
Just
once a
one?
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. All right. So those things have occurred. Those things have happened, and we move on to, I believe, year 8.
Really? Wow. Time has flown.
It has. Let me do this. Let me do this. So you will have your turn as you go into 8. You've been told that the dragon is not a threat yet. Will not be for a couple more years. On what they're basing that, you're still uncertain.
Yeah.
But
why is everyone so reticent about their information?
Nobody will
about
tell us
this
how they know
dragon?
anything.
What a bunch of jerkwads.
But in any case, you will pick that up. You'll have that as a sense going on. In terms of other threats, the gnomes themselves are a threat. But I don't think you have a lot of things right now that are otherwise impinging on you for the moment.
Is this you softening it all before you get into the entanglement school?
Yes, yes, it is actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I have three entanglements. Uh, Let me start with one of them because it may eventually shape your decisions here. We'll do that one. Then we'll have you do some scenes. Then I'll talk about the other two entanglements. I guess I should talk also about the sort of the work for the other factions. So the duchy continues the controlling the trade routes, basically establishing their patrols and control of that route. They're almost done with that. The gnolls are continuing their work, increasing size. The elves have moved from tier 1 to tier 2 successfully. They're now at tier 2 weak hold, but it took them a while. So that's what they finished out. The Tengu, who increased size last time, are also now kind of working to reestablish their hold. The gnomes finished their dark ritual, which was summoning the dragon. And they are working to strengthen their hold. And the spellcasters are building a tower. So that is what is going on with them. As the year opens up, you are surprised when you are like one of the runners comes down from the above things and says to you, Grunheld, one of the elves is here. I believe the one that was at that gathering, the carnival, the opera we had a few years ago when you invited them.
I see. Please invite them in and prepare some tea.
And Volmir, who you met before, will come in. He is, as you will immediately note, his manner is more deferring than it was the last time. And you will see that he has brought with him a pack that he will set out before him, and he will say, this is essentially to the founders, we'll imagine the Council of Founders is there, and he will say, we have been remiss in thanking you for your invitation. Matters have been complicated amongst my people, but I wish to take this opportunity to thank you for your hospitality before. I have brought with me a number of cuttings and seeds from the further western edge of the valley, things that you might not have access to. We have noted that you and your dwarven friends have been engaged in agriculture, and so thought that you might find some of these useful. They are, and he'll pull out like a pouch, and you can see that there's someone has taken a lot of time and has written up little scrolls to go with each one that are kind of tied on there that say exactly what it is and exactly what it does and exactly how you use it.
Well, thank you very, very much. I'm absolutely positive that our friend Dolan will be most interested, and we are all very thankful for your gift. It's very kind of you. Please be welcome.
As you can imagine, I have an ulterior motive for coming here.
Isn't that always the way? But we certainly understand.
He pauses. He says, we have a situation of some delicacy.
And I'll kind of look around. This chamber is just us founders,
Yes,
right?
because it is not like that. It's a delicacy for our people rather than as you traveled here to arrive and take Carrick Minor, you know that our people migrated here with the changing of magics. We came from the forest of 8,000 elms, from one of the elvish nations there.
I see.
Our departure was complicated, and well, let me cut to the chase.
Please, yes.
We are not permitted to return back to our homeland. That is an agreement that we have made. That is a situation, a bargain that was struck of a sort.
I'm sorry, it can be very saddening when your homeland is no longer a place you may visit.
But there are certain old obligations of lineage and family that still remain, and we have been put in delicate position.
I see. How can we help?
The eldest daughter of the leader of our people is betrothed to a personage of the nation that we come from. And well, we can't go to get her. They're not going to send her. This is not a question of they won't let her go, but they've made it so that we can't go to get her.
So you perhaps need someone to act as an intermediary.
That is exactly what we are asking. We would consider this a great favor, and we would owe you a debt that we would repay. We can discuss the terms of that, but we would be in your debt, and if you can do this thing for us.
Of course, I understand, and I'm kind of going to look around. Do I see any dissenting faces amongst anyone? Far be it for the dwarves of Carrick Minor to not do everything in the cause of love.
Yes, love. Yes.
We would be certainly willing to escort your lady, princess, your princess from her homeland. We will, of course, need, I suppose, directions, but we would happily escort her.
It will be later this year. I will have documents and maps and all the necessary things drawn up to make this an embassy and to make this task as easy as possible for you.
Can certainly arrange a proper escort for a royal personage.
Thank you. I will return back to my lord to tell him that you are interested in doing this. Is there any message you wish for me to carry back to him?
Do tell him that it brings joy to Carrick Minor that our peoples are finding more reasons to find common cause and to increase our friendship. I would also like to inquire, perhaps to you, I am unsure if you have heard of this, though I have little doubt that you have. The creature that the gnomes have brought into our mutual area, the dragon. Your people have heard of it, I assume.
We have heard of it, yes.
I would ask your lord if he could exchange any information, and we will do the same. It is a threat to all of us.
He will look around and, kind of as if to say, what I'm about to say next should only be for the ears of the founders kind of thing. Kind of waits until maybe other people are moved. And he will say, in exchange for this duty that you will do for us, I have an offer of something that we have a contact and a sympathizer amongst the gnomes. And we have not been able to yet follow up on that, but we have reason to believe that they are genuine. We would put the handling of that asset into your hands.
See. That would certainly be good to keep us better informed, and with hope, your nation and ours will find mutual benefit from this contact.
I hope so as well.
Then please tell your lord there will come a day when that dragon must be taken care of. I hope we can depend on the stout hearts and strong arms of our elven friends to stand behind us when it does come.
I hope so as well. I cannot commit to that, as you can understand in this, but you take my sentiment strongly.
Very well. I look forward to receiving more information on the contact of your princess, and I do hope that there will be an invitation to the wedding.
Absolutely. And he will leave behind the bag filled with herbals, and will head out.
Ooh, Tolan, look.
Yeah, I just think I'll patter along behind him for a while and then go, hey, oh, when we were in the Centaur City, one of their scholars said that the dragon wouldn't be a problem for 3 years. Does that match up with anything you know?
Now, how would they know that?
They wouldn't tell us. They were all circumspect. We couldn't reveal our sources. Like everyone's like that. Ugh.
Well, rest assured that we would not be like that, though we do not know why. This
Okay.
whole this it struck me as puzzling as well.
Yes. Anyway, I thought I should tell you, if so that you understand that maybe that's true or something to consider, or maybe it will give us a clue as to what sort of source they're getting information from about this dragon. Very
Fair enough.
strange.
Fair enough. And he will head out. So before we get to the other part, the other shoe that's going to drop, let's talk about letting people call scenes. Essentially, with PC, with an NPC, things you're working on, like a chance to kind of do that RP. Going to go the other direction this time. Dazin, let me start with you.
I think I'd probably go see Dagriel.
Okay.
I have these rumors and stories, legends I've come across about great waterways underground. They cross large distances. You travel on them, but not really travel on them. It's something vague, and also a well that goes down into a water of souls, or some sort of liquid of souls. Maybe it's a spirit. That would make sense if it was spirits, wouldn't it?
It's like where the souls go after they die, before they get picked back up.
Well,
Yeah.
lesser souls. Not obviously not dwarven souls. We know what happens with dwarven souls. It's the others.
You know what happens with dwarven souls?
Well, yes, we go into the mountain. We reside there and give wisdom to future generations. We've called up many dwarven souls in front of you.
Really? Did you ask them about what happened to them? Like what their current state is? Or do you just
Well,
ask them a bunch of questions about what you want to know right now?
I generally ask them about things that I've called them up for, but other people have taken time to study these. Don't you have books?
She goes, "Oh, I have all the books. It's the thing that I've kind of noticed is missing. That's all. I just wondered if you had, perhaps. Anyway, no big deal."
If you want to talk to ghosts about their daily existence in the other
Don't you think
world,
it would
I
be
could arrange
fascinating?
some.
Yes.
I
What do you suppose? Is it calm? Is it peaceful? Is it
imagine
just
it's
quiet?
dull and repetitive. Oh, it might be quiet though. That is nice.
See, and why would it have to be dull when you have Anyway, I am very interested in that point, but I could not find anything specifically about what it is that happens to them afterwards.
Wait, I came here for something else.
You
No,
did.
a
Wait,
well
something
and
about
waterways.
wells. Okay, yes. So waterways, yes. Where did you hear about this? This was from.
Trying to remember, it was 2 weeks ago.
Was
it the
it
Meiji
the
people?
spirit that you called up?
Oh yes.
Oh, dang! I really wanted to sit in with you when you were
Oh,
talking.
yeah, I'm
to
sorry
him.
that you
Oh.
didn't call it up.
That's right.
Someone else called it up.
It was Emberstone summoning. Okay,
Yeah,
yes,
I was
I
like,
remember.
oh yeah, I wanted to ask questions, but man, I was there so long. I can't believe Emberstone was up doing all of that so long. I mean, wow, like what, 3 straight days before he collapsed? Incredible. Anyway,
Well, yes, I got some answers that turned out to coincidentally be accurate. As
oh,
I have found at least one access point into something that looks like the waterways as described, although I don't really know anything about them, and I'm not about to hop in a barrel and go. There's just a lot of water, and it goes places. Who knows what sort of places there might be sky. But the souls, well, I just haven't been able to find any sort of trace of.
Huh. Well, so are the waterways down the well, or are the waterways the same, like different?
If Emberstone's spirit is to continue to be trusted, the well would be near where I found the waterways.
Okay,
I don't
so
know where exactly.
Lowell's
You're
talking,
muted,
but
Lowell.
we can't hear it. It's just like a spirit who
Let
would
me
like to correct
clarify
us.
what was said about the waterways and the wells. I don't. We were told that there are waters that run below the earth, and there are passages to go into the rivers that run in this underwater, and that there are vessels and things to do that. And then in that underwater sort of river network that flows and connects places, there are spots where the water flows through, but there is a space there, like a cavern, and in one of those is the well that was spoken of.
So it might not
Oh.
even be like under our mountain, just somewhere in this nebulous waterway network.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then
cool. Thank you.
and then below all that, below the waters, which is where all the souls go, below all that is the deep earth, and that's supposedly where dwarven souls go. Though they're still connected to their mountain, and so they can be called back up.
Oh, that's great information. I'm writing that down. I bet it would make a great children's book. Okay. So this means that we might have a way to get around if we can figure out, navigate the waterways. What we need is someone who's a boatsman, like Barter. He's been on the water before.
Yes, call in the water dwarf.
He's not a water dwarf. He traveled a bit and actually spent some time on a fishing vessel.
Well, technically, he was on a boat once, and he had a sweater.
It's a great sweater, though.
I heard that he was injured and had to have an organ from a fish transplanted into him to save him, and now he's part fish.
Really? I'll have to go ask him. That's pretty cool. Never told me. I'd be kind of pissed. Anyway.
How else do you think he could handle something as unnatural as boats?
I don't know. I mean, lots of people use them, right? Just not dwarves usually. So did you find anything down below that gave us some sense of like what used to be there? Like, were there boats or anything?
No, mostly I just found a hole that led to a lot of rushing waters. I didn't go much further in it. I didn't want to get in the rushing waters.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Was there like a stairway?
I don't know, Lowell, how natural to worked was it?
It was a cracked open piece of the earth with the water rushing right below the lip of it.
I think this was something that came up in a shifting of the earth.
Oh. So not part of the official network yet.
Yet.
All right.
I can see you engraving a plaque to name the waterway station right now.
Well, only if it comes to some use. Otherwise, it's just a hole in the ground with some water in it. No.
Well, now I can see you engraving a plaque for a hole in the ground.
Hey, if we catch some fish there, we could call it Dagriel's fishing hole with water. That would be highly hilarious. Yes. Okay, we'll have to look into it.
Okay.
I will put that on my list of things to research. And I'm like, this is pretty cool.
So that yes.
see if I can find any ancestral spirits who are interested in wasting large amounts of time talking about trivial nonsense to your scholars.
Awesome. We like ancestral trivia.
This has been a good transaction, friend.
We
Pats
just
you
made that
very
really weird.
awkwardly.
Grunheld, let's have you call a scene.
All right. First, I want to ask, is it going to be an expedition to go and deal with the elves? I'm guessing that
Yes.
is the case. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think, I think I want to go and have a little chat with Tolan.
Okay. Tolan, where does Grunheld find you? Since you have a little less of a kind of settled space that you work in, so where does Grunheld find you?
Yeah, I mean, I work in whatever space is good for what I'm doing at the moment. And at the moment, I mean, I'm going through all of these seeds, like putting in, okay, these have to be above ground. These not only have to be above ground, these needs actual like sun, and like making a list of, drawing out plans of where to put them on our research farm. And like, oh wow, this one looks, they say this one is not only edible, but it also, grows, bark that can be used to start fire. And getting completely nerding out about these plants or these seeds, future plants.
Dolan, it is good to see that you are working with these new, the gift that the elves have sent us. It was, in fact, that was part of the reason I've come. It's good to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, these, there's some incredible stuff here. If we can make it grow, I have doubts that one, well, I mean, it says it needs chalk soil, and I haven't seen any chalk soil around here, but maybe we can fake something. It's, we can figure something out.
I'm sure we could find some chalk, and if you could figure out the proper mixture, we can create the chalk soil. Is there anything that looks like it will, in particular, grow fast and well? We need the food.
This is some kind of pea legume thing. It actually has a warning on it. Don't plant it, near anything you don't want it to take over. So that'll work. That ought to grow very fast. It also says it's not, it'll grow pretty much anywhere. So.
Oh, well, that is wonderful.
I mean, I think anywhere for elves probably does not mean underground, but.
I am impressed with how much you get done, Dolan. I swear, I can never even seem to find where you are. You're always flitting here, there, and yonder, working on something.
Well, it's good to keep busy. Although it's not like I have a lot of choice in the matter. There's a lot of things to do around here.
It does feel like we have endless toil. But receiving this gift, obviously, we will soon be making a trip to the elven old nations.
Yeah, yes, that. Am I just being overly suspicious, or do you have a feeling that this is, that there's something they weren't telling us?
Well, I don't think that they were revealing exactly the cause and the intention of their leaving, but I find it unlikely that they would not warn us if we were to expect actual hostility when we arrive.
I think they do want us to be successful, don't they? Or
I would hope.
Is there a reason they might not want us to?
I did not perceive that, but let's hope that's not the case. I feel that I should make the trip. I'm guessing you will be willing to make the trip with me?
Yes, of course. Uh, if it comes to diplomacy, I can certainly be polite. I don't have your gift for words, but you know, the journey itself, I can actually be useful.
And I'm sure the Dagriel will wish to go, and I don't know, Dawson
Chance
may
to
be
map
interested
new
to see
areas.
something new. But between us, you are certainly the best traveled, and managing to blaze the trail will be very important. We'll all be depending on you quite heavily, I imagine.
I've I will do my absolute best. I'll make sure to be extra prepared because I know we will have more people on the way back. I assume it's more people plural. I don't expect royalty to travel just as one person, although maybe they do. I don't know elves very well.
It may be the fact that she will have to come alone if this was such a complete split. One would guess that anyone that comes would not be allowed to return.
That's true. Well, we'll see. Either way,
It also may give an opportunity. The 8,000 elms is the realm. There may be even more plants that we can see and learn of. I mean, I don't suggest that we raid their gardens, but at the same time, what we find along the trail may be of some interest and some help.
you're absolutely right. I'll take some wrappings to collect them in and see what I can keep alive long enough to come back. Right.
Well, I just wanted to check with you. I imagined you would be quite engrossed by the gift, and admit I was a little curious myself. Something to add to the diet. Not that I don't mind mushrooms, and we have such a large amount of nettles that are in our diet now, but a little something else could go a long way in
This here,
variety.
I like hand up a little, you know, hang of seeds. This says it produces something called a pumpkin. It's supposed to be very large, but also very sweet.
Well, that seems like something that should be quite a high priority. And I think we'll end out on that. You are muted, my love.
I just cursed. Let's have Dagriel next then.
This is the Tetris of founders meeting with founders. Who do I go to see? All right, I'm going to go see Grunheld.
I assume you find Grunheld in Grunheld's chambers, or are you going
Waylaying
to?
them somewhere else where they're at a disadvantage. Oh, that's a
You
great idea.
could if you wanted.
No.
I do a lot of walking around the neighborhood and pressing the flesh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll probably wait until you've done that for the day and then follow you back, like essentially catch up with you as you're heading back towards your home and go, I hope you're not too tired. I just wanted to have a little chat with you.
No, of course. It's always actually invigorating seeing how much the city has grown, isn't it? Can you believe that it was only 8 years ago that we came in and it was so barren, just an empty shell, and now it rings with voices and anvils. Children. We now have children.
Yeah, oh, that's pretty good. And I sort of clap you on the back. It was something that was kind of so we got to go out again, and I've been thinking that maybe we might see about because we do it a lot here. It's not like the old place where we were all settled in and everything was calm and we had all the dark ways figured out and everything was the. I think this place in its early years probably needs some folk who a little bit more specialists outdoors. Maybe some of the younger people who aren't so set in their ways about what a dwarf is. You know, you get all dozened up and it's just maybe before people find their niche as an underground dwarf, it would be a time for them to act as diplomats, as researchers.
Well, yes, that's a possibility. I know that the farmers are spending some time outside, but I have noticed that it's not exactly to their comfort.
But we
What
pay
sort
so
of thing
little
are you
attention to the
proposing?
thing. I don't know. Maybe more like a secondary expedition, but not for a purpose, not for the thing so much as for learning. Like I don't know. Like dwarf scouts, you know, they go out, they see more about I mean, because think about it, how many people have gotten to visit the Tengu here?
Well,
Really, just us. But don't you think that would be fascinating for some of the other folks here?
it might be. I wouldn't want to bother our neighbors, but the Tengu seem, generally speaking, fairly friendly. I certainly would think that our Knowlish friends wouldn't mind perhaps seeing some of our people, and in exchange with them, their woodcraft is, well, second to none that I've ever met.
Exactly. It's not so much that it would be dwarves going out and learning how to be like other folk, but learning how the things that other folks do could add to our lives and what we do could add to their lives.
That seems like a beneficial idea.
Okay. Yes. So I was thinking of sort of putting together, purely by their own choice, a kind of group of folks who would like to get out and meet other people, learn more about our surroundings, so that as we grow, we know more how to navigate the situation that is around us.
I, I don't see a problem with that, other than I think we should be careful where they go and who leads this group. It is dangerous out there, and we wouldn't want them to. I know that in your exuberance, sometimes you are willing to go into dangerous places to learn more. We wouldn't want to put our younglings into that sort of uh, hazardous situation.
Here's the thing, the young ones, I don't worry about. They will find their own danger, and we have to watch them and hold them back. It's more I worry about the ones who they haven't found their calling altogether for the dwarves as a whole here, Carrick Minor, but nor have they tried anything outdoors. They don't have any sense of what it means to be underground other than that's how it's always been.
Well, if you wish to put together some sort of little groups to do excursions around the mountain and in the close environs, that seems like a good idea. And again, perhaps as far as up to the mountain to see the Tengu and to the hills to see the knolls, but
Okay, so you'd be fine with a little bit of the Hearthguard helping us with a little, I don't know, spear work and stuff like that, right?
as in guarding this expedition.
No. Is it teaching other people to do those things?
No, I don't see a problem with that. It is good for all the population to be able to defend themselves.
Excellent. That's exactly how I feel about it. So that's what they'll start with, so that they have some sense that they can defend themselves.
All right. Yes, yes. That sounds lovely.
All right, great. Library scouts. This will be great. All right. I turn around and go
Your
back.
chuckle was somewhat evil sounding, Gabrielle.
Oh, never mind. Just a trick of the caverns.
And then Tolan, what would you like to do? Who would you like to talk with?
I think I would like to go see Dawson.
Okay. Dawson, like where do you set up your shop now? You've got some more space, and now you've got this working on these other figures. Where are you set up at?
Um, we had talked about like as the guild had expanded, like the main central forge complex had gotten big and fancy. But I think with his like side project now, he's also been spending at least as much time at the kiln. Like he's cleared out his own room in the like attic floor of the kiln and kicks out most everybody that comes up there.
Okay. So, Tolan, you can track Dawson down to there.
Yeah. So I think we just walk in. So, what are we going to do about this dragon?
What?
The dragon. I've been thinking, and if we have 3 years, we should take care of it on year 2 before it gets all strong and powerful and does whatever it is it does.
Oh, I'm well.
I know it's year
what is-
1, but planning ahead would probably be good, seeing as how it's an undead dragon and we're a bunch of dwarves.
No, it's fine. We should definitely be able to figure that out by next spring. Um, what does taking care of this dragon look like?
Well, I mean, the obvious,
Is it?
no, no. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is probably a terrible idea, and that would be pretty much the same thing we did to the Monkey King. And I think the dragon is probably much bigger and stronger, and magical, which kind of means that it's your and my responsibility.
I don't know if your human friends are going to be as happy to help us with an undead
Yeah.
dragon.
I mean, I'm sure the gnolls would probably, and the elves, have no love for the gnomes, who apparently summoned it. So is that the angle? Is it dealing with the gnomes?
Maybe it would be one thing if they had crafted the thing themselves. Their spells would then be central to its existence, and without them, it would likely fall
Right.
apart. But this
Yeah.
thing
But it's
comes from somewhere else. It owes its existence to something else. Maybe snapping their control would then leave us with a self-determining necromantic dragon.
You're right. That seems worse.
Potentially.
Unless we could learn to control it. It seems unlikely, but
Well, that that would be what? No. Maybe just wait. No.
Well, if the gnomes control it. So if we learn how they control it, or they don't, I don't know how well they control it. They summoned it. That's pretty much all we know.
If we can understand how they are summoning or controlling it, then we could use that knowledge to banish it and send it elsewhere. Or maybe other terrible ideas, but definitely probably not.
It's something to keep in mind. At this point, any ideas are equally bad and good. It's hard to tell. We don't really know much about it. Yeah, your underground rivers. I'm wondering if this dwarven outpost would have been built along one of them. That could be a way to get there without being exposed to the dragon.
Maybe. They seem like something we need to explore. And amongst all the other things that people keep banging on my door and tracking mud into my delicate clay mixtures to say that we need to take care of.
Like, kind of scuffles my feet a little bit, like,
you scuff off some mud on your boot next to other piles of mud on the floor, which look much the same.
So the spirits come from the water. Where do dragon spirits come from?
Well, this is
Same.
I don't know. Dragon places? The moon.
Oh, well, the Tengu know how to get to the moon.
Oh, well, I didn't think. I mean, maybe. It's just there's legends.
You didn't see them? Oh, right. You kind of. They went to the moon.
Saw what I saw. The Tengu were very clear that we shouldn't talk about religious experiences outside of the ritual itself. It would lessen the experience.
Okay, but it's sort of important if the dragon comes from the moon to know that there are people who can get there.
I don't know where dragons come from.
Well, I mean, seems like an undead dragon would have been brought back from the place where dead dragons are. I don't know. Do dragons go to the same place when they die as whatever people are in the water?
I will investigate the waterways and the soul and that aspect of things. You try and find out what you can about where baby dragons come from and what necromancy looks like from a gnomish perspective or something terrible like that. I don't know. Go talk to your human mages. Don't they know things?
They do. I'm not sure they know the same things, but yeah. All right, I'll just some things to think about.
Yes, I'll just undo ancient magics and fix all of our civilization's problems by, again, next spring, you're proposing?
I'm not demanding that you do it. I'm saying that those of us who can use magic should probably put our heads together and come up with some plans. Not,
well, here we
Dawson,
are.
please fix the dragon problem for me.
No, just doesn't. Please fix the dragon problem with me. You realize that's not significantly better. There's still a dragon. It's
You do have a
problem.
point. All right. Well, I'll find out what I can.
And that feels
you
like
going-
scene. Let's take our first break here. Let's take 10 and we will come back, okay? So we take up a little while later into the year as spring is coming. And let's say that Tolan, Dagril, you two are outside looking at the crops that are growing of various kinds. And as you were there, you will see a largish figure come up the road towards this. They're clearly on the road for the trade guild and the inn and stuff. But they'll see you and they'll kind of turn and very Jim Henson, large figure esque. I want you to picture, and you will see this figure come towards you. And once you can finally see it in the light, you will see that it is Cesano, the Minotaur, who you met before.
Ah, oh, well, as soon as I see that, I sort of bounded down the cliff towards them. I'm like, Susano!
It's Dagril, is it not?
I'm glad you remembered. We're kind of short and diminutive, and I know you mostly see the tops of our heads.
No. I see it. And that would be Tolan there, correct?
Yeah.
Greetings to you. I hope that you and your fellow founders are well.
We are. Hey, I'll buy you a beer. Come on.
Well, that would be lovely. And he will come with you to the tavern. When he gets in, he sets down an enormous pack off to the side, and he will ask for the news of the last couple of years, how things have gone.
Right. We will tell them all the stories, including the dragon.
And he will listen and so on, and he will say, as you know, my comrades and I were headed to be able to travel back to our homelands.
You were able to?
Yes and no. As it turned out, a good portion of us were able to travel, but they did not have room for all of us. I and a couple of my comrades, who are a few days behind me, we sent the young ones along. They needed to go home, but we older ones, we can handle another few years here, another set of times and hours, another decade if it need be. My fur is already gray, so I would like to see my homeland before I pass, but I would be happiest if I know that the others have made their way back.
I hope it's not that long.
I hope. I remembered that you and your compatriots had offered us hospitality.
Yes.
That should we return this way, that we should come and look to you and yours. And so I have come asking perhaps for some hospitality, but I do not come empty-handed.
Even if he did, but still, I always like to look in the back. Yes.
He says, I am a trader at heart, so I tried to think of what I could find that you might find useful. So in that bag, you will find first a number of very excellent polishing powders from the craftsmen of the East, different grains and such that you might find useful. There is some of that, as well. Some very fine wax, high quality, from some interesting insects. It's a stickier wax. It still is flexible, but it adheres in a most interesting way. So it is very useful for stoppering things with a significant seal. But it can be then unset by heat. So it is good for cold seals and things like that. So I brought a good block of that, but then the rest. Now, this is the tradesman in me, in that I tend to look for things that I would find interesting. It may not be as interesting to you, dwarves, I do not know, but I have in there a vast array of perfumes, oils, scents of all kinds. I've collected great volumes of those from our trip to the furthest eastern reaches, and they are exquisite. I found a person who made dipping woods that are very small and simple, allow you to dip into and then have a scent of it and pass that around so you can sample it without losing too much of the essence of it. But I have a host of those. I would say they would make excellent perfumes. They would make for brilliant scented candles, for incense, those kinds of things. There's some that are in solids, some that are in wood, some that are in liquid form that are in there.
Ooh, the cataloging.
And because I know that you would enjoy such a thing, I also had one of my people, when we were there, I made a journal from the time I left here until my travels to the East, and they've made a copy of it for you and yours.
This
So
is excellent.
So here, I would very much like to meet with the very interesting Dawson and the very lovely Grunheld
Yes.
again to speak on such trade matters.
Yes.
But yes, if you wish to go ahead and look through Tolan, Dagriel.
Yes. And we'll
I'll go ahead and get the others. I don't think that girl can be torn away from this anytime soon.
I'm like, oh, look at this. And I'm like going, oh yeah. And I'll lean forward and I'll say sort of conspiratorially, Grunheld is a Thane now. We had to give her a title because some other dwarves came and they were all like, oh, we have to have a leader and all those things with, all named. So just having a council wasn't good. But it's fine. Grunheld's, she was kind of the leader all along anyway.
Oh, well, that is nice of you to say. I'm glad that that it's not turned into a dictatorial thing.
Not yet. I think that's a progression, isn't it, usually? So, anyway.
And so maybe we do cut forward to Grunheld and Dawson. Will you, when Tolan tells you this, will you go to?
I suppose. I mean, he does talk a lot, just so much.
And when you get up there, he has all these lovely scents and perfumes and this wax and these polishing powders. And he has wrapped up in a set of oil skins. He will put out there in front of you, Dawson. He will say, "This is a chunk of the highest quality porcelain clay that comes from the East. This is all I was able to obtain of it. They keep it very close by.
unwrap one of the chunks.
I think you open it up and it's like nothing you've seen. It's like a blue agate clay.
This is interesting. What sort of uses do they put it to?
They make exquisite, brilliant, small pieces, cups, saucers, china, figurines, and things like that. The blue of the clay, when it's fired, tends to become iridescent and even rainbowed in places. But more importantly, it is a clay that, well, let me demonstrate. And he will pull out a little like teacup, and then he will smash it on the table with some force, and then he holds it up, and it is intact.
Oh, that's slightly more interesting.
I thought that its strength might be useful for your artificial self, perhaps for eyes or other delicate bits that you don't want broken.
That is an interesting idea. I wouldn't have expected you to think of my project like that.
Oh, no. You and your friends were incredibly generous when we came through behind. You were very good to us, and I paid as much attention as I could. There is a little silver filigreed locket in there with some of the arm markers of the East that I thought that Grunheld you might enjoy. And it kind of hold up, and it's one of those kind of pretty baubles that you like, kind of catches the light.
Oh, well, thank you. That is most kind of you to think of me. It's lovely. But would you put it on?
Oh, yes. And he says, and I hope the wax is to your liking, Tolden.
Yes, this it seems like very useful for sealing boats, bottles. I'm sure I will be flooded with more ideas.
That's what I thought. It seemed like a thing that had multiplicity of purposes, and that suited your
so
particular
many
temperament.
uses.
It is nice to have you back with us. It is a true blessing to the mountain.
That I appreciate that. I would like to impose on your hospitality for a few weeks, and conduct trade here, in your area before we. I plan to make a circuit around the valley and to your stead, your former settlement, and then make my way back. And perhaps my plan is for the next couple of years to do that before my companions and I take the walk back to the city and perhaps see if we can get a different vessel.
Well, you are welcome to consider us a home to return to, but I should give you a bit of a warning. The centaurs have imposed a tariff on crossing the bridge over the river. They are dictating trade. It is possible that we can give you a letter of marque if you consider us your home port, so to speak.
Interesting. That would be appreciated. So things have kind of changed here in the valley.
Yes.
And an undead dragon. There's one of those.
Yes.
We'll tell him about that.
Do you mean Hal Vasic?
Yeah. Do you know anything about it?
We heard tell of it, that the plague dragon, the undead dragon, had had left its perch, its place from the fallen city of Garrick last year, and it had been seen flying past places. But so it came here.
Yes.
It has taken up residence in the ruin along the trade routes.
It, from what I understand, is a how do I put this? It is a polluting thing. Where it lives over time becomes corrupted and vile.
We intend to drive it away, but we are still marshaling forces and knowledge to that end.
Well, if there's anything that I can do to assist, within limits as a modest tradesman on the road, but I will offer you what my skills can be put to assist with such a matter.
One of the scholars about the centaurs told us that it would be 3 years before they had to worry about it, whatever that means.
Because it flew.
So it takes some time to recover.
If it is woken, it is a the dragons, as I understand it here, are by nature's sedentary creatures. But it is also a creature of undeath, so it takes time before it will awaken again. 3 years is probably, with my understanding, a good guess, but it is a guess.
So, I wonder if it needs to sleep, if we kept waking it up, if we could keep it asleep forever.
Is that what we call lateral thinking? Because it's not the conclusion that I would have jumped to, but
I guess maybe, I don't know. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be dangerous. I just was, you could wake it up and it couldn't go anywhere.
interesting.
Never mind. Not like I'm going to go and start experimenting by poking it right away, okay? Don't you worry.
You know why?
And if you do, take Tolan. Tolan's in charge of the dragon now.
Tolan, you were saying?
You know why it usually lives in the fallen city?
As I understand it, it was before it was killed, it was an imperious dragon, and it lives in the echoes of the past, which is why it is attracted to father. At least that's just how the songs told it. Whether that's true or not, that's unclear. But it had been there for at least 3 generations, from my understanding. So what made it move? It was uncertain. No one knew why it had lifted up and flown.
The gnomes summoned it.
Oh, well, that would explain things.
Yes. Apparently a plague would serve them well.
They are, as I understand it, necromancers, so that does seem like the logical conclusion.
Yes.
Grist for their mill.
Oh, so there are some troubles. But would you like us to set things up for you and yours at the inn, or would you like something in the upper caverns? We could raise the ceiling on a couple of the places. It's a little bit harder to, chip away up top, but we can do that. We got scaffolding.
Where will we be less of an imposition? I don't want to take up too much space.
Here's the thing, cavern's huge in the caverny part, and it's just whether you have enough room and where you're staying, right?
I
Let's put that off until my comrades arrive in a few days, and then we can
Okay.
talk about that.
Yes, they may have, strong opinions on it too.
These perfumes, that wax, this porcelain, that bauble that I have given you, those are gifts to each of you. The other things I will be selling mercantile wise, and we can talk about those things later. But these are essentially visiting gifts from me. You will consider them that.
and we thank you for your generosity. And please, feel free to stay here at the inn till your comrades arrive, and whenever you'd like, we are more than happy to provide you space, both for storage in your time of absence and living in your time of presence.
That is much appreciated. So, do you want to do the expedition now? Or do you want the last entanglement on the table?
You mean the guy coming with super cool presents from far away wasn't
That
the
was the
ominous
second.
entanglement?
That was the
you-
second entanglement of the three.
Does the other one constitute a huge, horrible emergency situation that, in fact, will? Never mind.
I mean, we definitely want to see what the other entanglement is.
Yeah, you probably should tell us.
It is perhaps a few weeks after the arrival of Cesano, that in the middle of the night, you will hear a rumble and a shaking, and then a louder shaking, and then all of you will feel the earth turning and buckling, and the mountain shakes. You can hear like the sounds of stone turning, the lava pits spew forth a bit. There is cracking and thundering, and this continues on. People are running every which way. What is it that you do while this earthquake is going on, Tolan? What is it that you do?
I probably know where the least stable areas that people are regularly in are. So I think I'm sort of running and checking, make sure nobody's buried there, trying to get everybody out before things collapse.
Absolutely. You find yourself having to go down to some of the deeper depths, depth 1 and depth 2, to grab people and move them along as the shaking is happening. What about you, Dazin? What are you doing? Like, what do we see of you on screen when this is happening?
Um, I think as the shaking starts, Dawson starts humming in his like resonant stone singing sort of voice, and as like the shaking and chaos is going on, he's walking like quickly but calmly and completely sure-footed through all of it, straight towards wherever the biggest cracks, the biggest fault is coming up, where he's going to start trying to do what he can to mitigate and hold things together.
What building do you want to absolutely protect, Dazin?
Let me look. I have an idea. Oh no. I'm very torn between the brewery and the kiln. The kiln is where I said his current obsession is, so I think it's that.
All right. Grunheld, what are you doing while this disaster is unfolding?
I begin running out and trying to calm people, come, and I'm trying to move to what I'm hoping is the most stable buildings that can hold people. I'm taking them to the temple.
Okay. You will get people moving down towards the temple. And as you are heading down there, there is a crashing as the temple starts to give way, and you are forced to turn around and start running back.
Back that way! Back that way!
Dagriel, what are you doing?
Well, I'm taking measurements. I assume that every dwarven thing has a set of things for measuring, the tremors and stuff like that. This is a fact of life. So
Yeah.
I'm essentially going to the points that I can get to get the measurements to understand, because this is the first one of these notable tremors that we've had.
It's a classical ancient device, the
Exactly.
seismographs of various kinds. And so you've got a little more advanced dwarven versions of that. And so you are able to gather some information. And it will continue on. And there is one ear-splitting crash. And then the mountain settles. And in the aftermath, you will find that 2 of the buildings have been damaged. The ironworks and the temple have both been damaged. Mechanically, what that means is it's going to require either 2 guild actions spent to repair, essentially uses of your guild, or a downtime action to repair that, to get each of those back to normal state, to normal operations. However, in the winding tunnels, the settlement quarter collapses
What?
and is destroyed. Which, for the purposes of this, means that right now you have a serious sort of population distribution problem until you can build another settlement quarter.
Did we build it there?
Yeah, you can rebuild it there.
Okay.
But it is destroyed.
So it needs the full build process.
Yeah. You don't need to rediscover it, but you do need to do a full construction action.
Okay.
You may notice that some of the entanglement tracks have gone down some ticks.
Yeah.
That was a 1 and a 9.
Wow.
Yeah. And I actually, let me say this, I really like the game, but the actual what could actually happen in terms of damage, it's destroying a bunch of buildings. It's not just a few things. So this, I did dial it back a little from what the roll was.
Oh my.
Thanks. This will keep us busy for our downtimes in our building phase.
It may also suggest that one of the things you may want to consider building is reinforced tunnels.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, that would probably
Every
be a good
one of
idea.
those pillars we can have, essentially the face carved in of one of the founders. It will be excellent.
Really? Which one of the founders?
Well, whichever one helped with the pillar.
Was that a mountain entanglement?
Yes, it was.
Check. Yeah. Okay.
I will set some of the laborers to work repairing things.
Absolutely. So basically to do the repairs, and we can kind of do this mechanically without having to lean
Okay.
into it too much.
Okay.
If you spend a use of your guild
Okay.
and somebody else spends a use of a guild, you can fix one of the two damaged places. So
Why don't we work on the temple then if we do the scholars and the laborers? That seems like a good one for the temple, doesn't it?
Okay.
so it probably takes a few weeks of you you spending that supply and repairing that and getting it back together. I will say, because two of you committed to helping people, there were injuries, but no loss of lives. So the temple can be repaired. Does anybody want to spend to do the other repair?
Oh, is it time for downtimes?
No. There are two repair things: one ironworks and the temple.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to spend two guild supply,
I mean, yeah, the guild members don't have to come on the expedition. They can stay behind and work on this. So
okay.
I can do that.
Do you want to mark another use of that?
Sure.
And then who else wants to mark a use of the guild to get the ironworks back in play?
I can do that.
Okay.
Thank you. I have plans for my guild this year.
No, I'll be needing the other one to send some with us to escort the princess as well.
So yeah, you will get the ironworks fixed up. That is mostly clearing rubble. Getting the various furnaces and things back together, and it takes a while to do, but it is comparatively minor compared to what it could have been. It could have been much worse. All of you will know.
We need to have some people start praying.
Does that help?
Praying in our temple does,
It
yes.
reduces mountain entanglement.
That is a thing. So the mountain entanglement track is down by 2 ticks, and the outsider entanglement is down by 1 tick. So we're at +2 and +2 on those.
How do we clear the dedicate thing? Do you have to build another temple?
So yeah, if you want to have so the dedicated gives you that action,
Okay.
which is why it's dedicated to do that particular action from now on.
Yeah, we can always do that action now that it's been dedicated.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the pray is a new downtime action?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
duh. Okay, I was reading it. I thought it was this
No,
one
it took me a
time
bit to
someone
figure
could
that out
kick it.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see the colon there. I had to lean in a little. I'm getting old. It's my old eyes. So there you go.
It's because I use dedicate for dedicate and you can't use it again, and also dedicate and you get an effect. So
Okay.
so let's take up, in the aftermath of that, what do you want to do expedition wise? I assume we bring the Council of Founders together. This is probably mid-year after these turns and this recent calamity, but you've come back from it. The settlement quarter still needs to be rebuilt, but you can't really get to that till the end of the year, or at least that particular phase. But let's take up with the founders talking about what they want to do next.
It is clear that the mountain is not completely happy with us. We should turn our minds to that as soon as we can. However,
Yes, we have been neglecting the spirit of the mountain for a while now. We've served the spirits of our ancestors very well, and I think incorporated them admirably. But in the process, I believe we have angered the mountain in our neglect.
And I think there have been some who have rather particularly poked at the mountain to raise its ire.
There have been a lot of trials in our getting to know each other and adjustment period.
Mm.
Oh, I get it. Okay, that was like, oh, right. Okay, yeah. And I'm right down in the notes. Okay, Dawson pissed off the mountain.
What just him?
I mean,
In fact, I think we
technically it
all
was.
pissed it off at least once when we took extra action.
But yeah, the mountain as a faction is down at a -1, and being a faction, I guess that would be like an expedition level thing to try and address that.
That's interesting.
We also have made the agreement that we will escort the princess from the 8,000 Oaks.
We definitely need to do that because we've said that we would.
Correct.
But I like the idea of how do you say, an expedition for the mountain. If we can afford it after we've done the elephant one, that makes a great deal of sense. And in a lot of ways we actually need to, because there's a polluting dragon sleeping at the foot of the mountain now. And it might be good to, how do you say, strengthen the ties so we can hold up the terrible effects of the dragon for a week.
Yes, yes. The dragon is worrying. Tolan, you're in charge of the dragon. What do you have to say about that?
I'm like, wow. Tolan in charge of dragon situation. Okay.
Yes, make sure you write that down.
I did. I wrote it down. It's in the official notes.
I am impressed, Tolan, that you've taken such a weighty matter on yourself so singularly.
I didn't put it quite that way.
Well, we will all be here to help you as much as possible in your task.
I like the idea that Hemok's sitting here like completely confused about how Tolan got assigned to deal with the dragon.
Mike says, may I ask a question, Tolan?
Certainly.
That does seem like a lot. Perhaps you might share that burden with someone else.
Why, yes, I was just thinking. Dawson also has
You're right.
knowledge
I
of...
agree. You could use some help. Thank you for asking my input. Hemok, you seem free.
It did sound like you were volunteering, Hemok.
Oh, I see how this works. He says. Now I understand.
We will face this issue all together, but it is having someone spearhead it is good. And Tolan, if you can, amongst your many tasks, spearhead the effort, that is appreciated. And I'm sure
plants, shore up tunnels, deal with dragon.
well, Dawson is of course going to be very busy placating the mountain, since that would seem to be very much in your purview, would it not, Master Runjo?
Yes, along with navigating the entirety of a worldwide underground water network and finding where all the souls go when they're done wandering around.
We are thankful
Thank
for
you.
your broad shoulders, Mr. Runjo. But hopefully we have a pleasant excursion to the elven homelands that will go without any sort of difficulties. Would that not be lovely?
It would be lovely.
I'm sure.
We've received, I'm assuming, we've received the information on, and the letters to handle that.
Absolutely.
It probably is our first endeavor. We can and I will look to Hemok and to Trillian and say, if those of you that remain, I believe that Tolan has expressed an interest to go. Dagriel, I imagine you are quite interested in seeing this new lands, and Dawson, would you be interested in seeing the Elven homeland?
I keep saying no every time, but somehow I end up out there in the terrible outside where there's stars and weather.
Think of it as a test for your new clay.
Yeah, or you could always just send your suit.
That has a great benefit to it, actually, doesn't it? That will mean that we have some means in an emergency of communication back home.
Mhm.
Excellent, Dawson. Very good thinking.
Yep.
Well, then, the other founders, let's get as much work as we can started on fixing the damage.
And then I'll sort of stop and I go, oh wait, Dawson, you can keep in communication with your suit that far off, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Just didn't want to make sure that we weren't causing something really crazy.
Keep in mind that Dawson won't be here. He'll be with you. Like his spirit is in that suit.
Oh, we know, but it's that he's not there.
Right. It's not like he can just drop the suit, come back, and tell people things.
No, we'll have to smash it if we need to send an emergency message.
Okay,
back.
just want to make sure that's clear.
No, I mean I can drop it. It's just stress every time. So no, I'm not going to be hopping back and forth for messages.
Oh, that's right. You can't do that.
We're going
That's
to ask
right.
you to do it over and over again, though. Like, can you run into?
But I do have a break glass in case of emergency if I needed to go deal with another earthquake or an early dragon rise by myself at the mountain. Thank you very much.
You're not by yourself. Hemok and Trillian are here.
We'll throw your body on a cart, drag it home.
Probably. Lash it to the back of one of the goats. So.
All right, then. So, yeah, sounds like that's what we're doing first.
So I'm going to ask, actually, I'm going to end early here, actually, so we can kind of start out with this. I know it's a little bit early, but I've been having problems with my hip today.
Okie dokie.
God, I'm old.
You're
I hate
so
to say
old.
that.
I wasn't.
I can't believe I
it, but
said
you
that out
did,
loud.
But there was like,
I need to just wither up and die at that point.
no, you need to go see a doctor.
Yeah, but I would like to see if there's any end things we want to do. And then we'll do the stars and wishes. And then we'll start out next time with the expedition going and all of that kind of thing. But I do want to give people a chance if there's one more thing they want to do or set up or anything like that today. Dawson?
So just sort of a mechanical question that could lead into something. But I have been looking for a way or a situation to use my guild in the sense of they go off and do an independent action, which normally we have them like giving us dice or whatever. And I feel like an initial scouting, getting to know you of the waterway network would be a great thing to send them on. Potentially dangerous, but very in their wheelhouse, and could be like setting us up for a future expedition. Would that be like?
I think first you would need to get information on how to even use it, like because it's supernatural. It's not a natural thing, and it is like you're sending them into a full pipe of rushing water. So I think that there is an action that needs to be done before that. But I do think once that's established, then yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, and just so I could, put it in planning, would that be like an expedition phase thing where I send them off, or would it be like a downtime settlement action phase thing?
Let me look at the guild stuff and see how they describe the guild's usage in that. It does seem to me like it should be able to like spend the guild to do something, but I want to see how they want to handle that mechanically, whether there's any
Cool.
advice in there on that. But I think that's a really great idea.
Cool. Well, then good. That's what I want to get out there and be thinking about.
Okay. Grunheld, anything?
Yeah, and this is fairly quick, I think, and could be mostly mechanical.
Sure.
Because we've got some buildings that we don't use that often, and I wouldn't mind getting a chance to do of going to the Merchant Inn, and as well as using the Centaur Library to gather information about the 8,000 Oaks elves, just to get a little information so that we have a baseline knowing when we go to visit.
Absolutely. So that so you get a die from the centaur,
Mhm.
right? And then if we look at the settlement sheet, the inn,
It lets me do the information,
yeah.
gather information roll.
Okay. So let's have you make a roll for that. I think that that probably feels a little bit more like convince or host than anything else.
Okay.
So let's have you roll with 4 dice.
Okay. And I think I'll go with the host since it's other people's cultures, sort of. Rolling. I got a 5.
Okay. So I'll give you 2 questions.
All right.
Do you want to use them now, or do you want to hang on to them?
Let me use one to start with, and I'll hang on to one.
Perfect.
What is the attitude of the elves of the 8,000 Oaks to visitors?
They are classic elves there, in the sense that they are not intrinsically hostile, but neither are they friendly to outsider peoples from outside the what you will know are the 7 nations that of the 7 elvish nations that live in the woods.
Okay. Excellent. Then, and I'll hang on to that other one to perhaps inform as we get there to deal with them. That sound right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can hang on to one. You can use it on the fly at any point to go, what do I know about what's going on here, or what have we heard about that?
Okay.
Dagro, what about you?
So I think there's a thing of, I get to think that Dawson is getting his scouts ready to go check these water things out. And here's the thing. My rival is my little cousin. The truth of the matter is, this is sort of embarrassing, but she was the one that wanted to be in the scholars first. But she was having a terrible time because she's terrible at fighting. So I went in and I was going to help her out, and I ended up like winning all the fights. And then I found out that I couldn't like fight for someone else. So I ended up being scholar, even though I didn't mean to. But it's been great. So don't get me wrong. I'm really enjoying it. But I felt bad because I kind of wanted my cousin to do it. But so she feels very like, let's say, she thinks I horned in on her territory. I would like her to find her own thing. So I'm going to kind of drop this thing about the waterways to her and go, like, I have time for that, with my eyes rolling and everything. Like I'm, a snooty goof, hoping that maybe she'll pick up one of these things and do something with it that becomes her own, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Like when we get a sense of how we want to handle that sort of guild NPC action thing, I think we'll roll that into that too.
Okay.
Maybe her helping to do the exploration of how these things work or finding out that information. That
Exactly.
sounds reasonable.
Okay.
I will look at that between now and then. If there isn't details on that, we'll figure out a way to do it such that it provides some interesting options.
Okay. All right. That sounds great.
And Tolan.
I want to ask the mountain what we should do about the dragon.
Okay.
It's going to say, get rid of it. I'm laying my wages
Maybe
right now.
not more. I don't know, but
So that's Stone Speak.
yep.
Anything you're adding to that?
No, but I got 5.
To each his own. And then the spirit of the mountain nods. Ah, yes. Yes, that's very, very good. And then kind of laughs at itself. There you go.
To each his own.
To each his own. Would you
I
like
don't
to
think-
resist it being that cryptic?
Yes, yes, I think I would.
Okay.
That is
You're the
pretty
worst
cryptic.
So I think you can resist that with insight.
Okay. Three.
So 3 stress.
Yep.
Really? Kind of like you kind of push. I thought it was very good, says the mountain. I was very pleased with myself.
It sounded very clever, but I don't understand it.
Use a dragon to fight a dragon.
All right. That is very helpful.
And it's gone.
Now, where do I get a dragon?
You can ask the elves.
And that's where we'll stop for today, if that is cool with everybody. I would like to do a quick stars and wishes. Actually, I want to start. Patrick has a really good point about the guilds, like using them for other ways, and that's a really clever thing. I'm going to look at that between now and next week, and I think that's a neat space that we should be opening up, especially because guilds can take harm. And maybe it opens up some space for creating buildings that can give additional benefits or actions to guild members or things. That could be kind of cool.
Yeah, I like their harm track because it gives them room to fail disastrously without like all dying and we never see them again.
Yeah, and we haven't really hit that as much. So yeah, I'll take a look at that context. So stars, wishes, Tyler.
Big stars. This was fun. I liked seeing the return of our Minotaur friend. I very much like him. I also enjoyed seeing the return of our elven friend, and I like that's a really neat.
It's a payoff for what you did before too.
That was cool though. I was very, very happy. I liked all of our conversations. I always enjoy Toland and Dozen talking together. It is, like I said last time, that kind of realizing Dawson just has no sense of irony, or it's just so literal. It gives a different insight into it, and Tolan is so earnest that when they're talking together, it's just the most interesting mismatch buddy comedy ever. I really enjoy that. And I always have fun when I get the chance to talk with Dagriel. We always seem to have an interesting conversation, so that was fun as well. And it was neat to see some of these entanglements paying off, and stuff that we've kind of been ignoring come back to bite us, because we have means to try and handle that mountain entanglement. We just kept going, oh, well, we'll let it build up. We'll let it build. And it got us. Wishes, I hope your hip feels better.
Yeah, thank you.
And I don't really have a huge specific wish other than I'm looking forward to this, encountering these elves, and maybe getting a little information on our local ones, what the deal is there, because that has kind of given me a little bit of curiosity.
Absolutely. That's a good point. Patrick?
Let's see, stars. I really like the Minotaur event as well. He's a cool NPC. I'm a big fan of characters who bring me thoughtful gifts. But also he's interesting, and the dwarves in general, and Dawson in specific, are very like homebodies and just very focused on what's in the mountain. And every time he comes, he brings little hints and flavors and stories of the world at large, and I think that's super cool. Also, Sherry, I just really loved the moment of, yes, well, there's this girl, and I mean, she's so smart, brilliant, just a genius, really, but can't throw a right hook, so I just fear that she's never really going to be a scholar. It's just
terrible.
Every time you find some new wrinkle to these pugilistic scholars, it's just delightful and twisted and insane. Wishes. I'm really looking forward to. I mean, we're going after so many things, but we already talked about some of the others. I'm looking forward to figuring out what a diplomatic expedition to heal our relationship with the mountain looks like.
That is a good point. Yeah, we'll look at maybe like we'll figure out how we can kind of aim towards that. That's a really good point. Tolan?
Yeah, I mean, stars to all of the PC interactions this time. I thought all of the several conversations were funny and interesting, and like just very much like, okay, yes, this is what these people would be like. This is what they would talk about, it's totally the bit like, well, let's try to control the dragon. Yeah, well, no, yeah, but that bit from Dawson was like, yep. Our characters may be very, very different, but they can agree on bad ideas.
Oh, they're just like peas in a pod for bad ideas. Just simpatico instantly.
Yep. And Daggerel's library scouts. Yes. Which I'm sure is what they will be called, Daggerel's library scouts.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Order of Dagriel.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Knights of the
wishes.
Library, Order of Dagrio. Oh, I love it.
There
Oh,
we
yes.
go. Yeah, wishes. All of our future expeditions and projects are extremely interesting. So I like, oh, these underground rivers sound, that sounds fascinating. How to appease the mountain also sounds fascinating, and going to see these elves, like, yeah, all of the things we have to deal with. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play out.
Awesome. And one of the things is we do have a lot of big things on the table. So like I will make sure before we get any other big picture things on the table, at least one of the things have gotten knocked down, whether that's having a chance to work with the mountain or taking care of the dragon or things like that. So I'm going to try and keep that in mind. Dagriel?
I'm sorry, but the council scene was chef's kiss today. Poor Hemok. Falling for it. Awesome. No, it was just I love this group because we all have our foibles and we're very sincere about them, and we go to our ruin with great resolve. And yet, as a group, we are really well balanced in keeping things moving forward for everyone else, even as we are, how should we say, falling to all of our follies. So it's been great, and this session was really delicious for a lot of that good character play.
Awesome. Wishes?
Gosh, I don't know. There's so much to see, but I'm looking forward to seeing the elves of this world, the elves of the 8,000 elms, and then kind of coming to understand what these how do you say, exiled elves, what their deal is and why, and yeah, I mean, getting to know this world, the other parts of this world a little better.
Absolutely. Excellent. I look forward to this expedition next time. And I'm very excited. I'm going to stop the recording.